Okay, hello, welcome back. 200 Days of Clarity. This is day 3, part 2. Again, when these videos get too long, I end up just splitting these days into 2. So, the last one ran a little bit over 15 minutes, running into day 2. So I'm not going to give a long intro. Just go ahead and open up your terminal and your IDE so we can continue the lesson. And yeah, again, last time we ran clarinet check, which again just which is used for clarinet to check that everything is okay. But to actually, spin up a Stacks blockchain so that we can deploy the contract we made and test it, we don't run clarinet check. We run something called clarinet console. So type that in. And now you can see we got a lot more things here. Again, I'm doing this one towards the end, so ignore everything else. Just look for something that says Clarity Basics 1. And if you see here that I'm highlighting, it shows us two things. On the left, in a column called Contract Identifier, it's saying some big long address, then .clarity basics 1. And in public functions, we see a single function, show true 1. Which again, here we wrote in show true 1. Cool. So that's obviously the function that we wrote there. To run it, and again, you're going to be doing this every single video hundreds of times, so don't worry about capturing this correctly first. In your terminal, once this is running, you type in parentheses contract-call ? Dot the name of the contract, so Clarity Basics 1, then the name of the function, show true 1, close parentheses. Now go ahead and press enter, and congratulations, you just ran your first function call to a smart contract that you wrote. Admittedly, it's not much of a smart contract, but baby steps. This is super cool because it now shows you how you're going to be manually testing everything that you write. Today, again, we're going to go ahead and do this relatively fast because, again, this day ended up getting split. So we're just going to write a couple variances on just what we've learned right now and run them in Clarinet console and call it a day. So first, I'm going to challenge you to write a read-only function called show false 1 that shows a value of false. Now, obviously, I'm going to run right into it, but if you want, you can go ahead and practice that and see if you get it right. If not, feel free to follow along as I write it out. Show false I space false, save. And that's it. And if we go back to Clarinet console, and to stop running this environment, you press Control-C twice, like that. To run it again, up arrow, Clarinet console, and now we'll see that the second function we wrote is also now here. And in case you're thinking, yes, if you get through this course, this is everything you're going to end up writing. Okay, so show false 1, show true 1. Let's try running show false 1. So contract-call ? Well, again, open parentheses, contract-call ? The name of the contract dot Clarity Basics 1, then the name of the contract. Now the name of the function that we want to call. Show false 1, I believe. Excellent. Cool. Now I'm going to put in a bug here just to see what happens in case you guys deal with it. What happens if you write the name of the function wrong? So let's say show false dash. We get an error here in red. And if you read carefully, it says show contract blank, the name of the contract, has no public function show false. Cool. So that makes sense. And now we are going to finish up by just introducing the first, well, again, I guess define read only, how you define a read only function was your very first clarity function. But now we're going to write your very first clarity native function that is, one of the built-in clarity functions and not a custom one. So let's go ahead and write another define read only function, except this one, call it show true 2. For the body, again, press enter, and then indent. And then here, what we're going to do is parentheses, type in not, N-O-T, then true, then save. Now, you can probably guess what this is. Actually, we're going to change the name of this function name. Instead of show true 2, actually, we're going to leave the function name. Instead of not true, switch the true out to a false. Not false. And if you had to guess, just logically, what do you think this function is going to spit out when you run clarinet console? And so let's go ahead and run show true 2. Now, why did it do that? So again, whenever you see a parentheses in clarity, that means there's a function being ran or some operation that's being ran. And if you look all the way in the leftmost, it's where it's the name of the function or the operator that's executing. And here you can see we use something called NOT or not. And all not does is it returns the inverse of the Boolean, which makes sense. So for example, if you write not true, it would return false. Or if you typed in not false, it would return true. So go ahead and write one last function. We're going to call it define read only show false 2. And I want you to use the not function like how we just used here. Not true. Okay. Now if we run clarinet console, we know exactly what's going to happen. Since we are running the not function, which we provide a parameter of true, all not does is it inverses Booleans. So if we provided a value true, it'll spit back out false. And we can indeed confirm that by running show false 2, which indeed returns false. Cool. So that has us at around 23 minutes for this, cumulative day 3. So I'm going to go ahead and pause here. I've introduced a few things, but I know you probably have way more questions than you have than before. So, sit tight. The first couple days, if not week, 2 weeks, is going to be very, very simple math, but it's more so introducing and explaining concepts that if you're new to programming, probably haven't seen before. So don't feel discouraged. If anything, just follow along with the code, and some of these concepts will become more clear as you write more and more code. Whatever you do, though, just don't throw in the towel. Of course, if you have any questions, feel free to comment below or to contact me on my Twitter or something. And yes, we're going to go ahead and call it a day. Tomorrow, we're going to move on to a much more familiar and much more useful data type, numbers. So stick around. I will see you tomorrow.